Renee Parrott spent 20 years in healthcare. As a practice manager, she knew all the ins and outs of busy doctors' offices. But the losses that she experienced during 2020 rocked the very foundation of her world. She needed a different path. Today, as a community engagement navigator, Renee's work is also her mission. During this episode, you will learn how she brings mammogram services to different counties, she's making access to care possible, and she's saving lives. Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. Join us as we hear another story and we answer those tough questions that you may have.
My name is Renee Parrott. I am the Community Engagement Navigator for the Southeast Texas counties for The Rose.
So, Renee, what does that mean to be a Community Engagement Navigator?
Well, it's my focus to go visit all of the counties that I'm assigned. I have 10 counties from Chambers County all the way up to Sabine County. I make my presence known with clinics and food pantries and churches and coalitions, and just let them know about the Rose and what our services are that we can provide to their patients, to their congregation, to anyone who's uninsured. A lot of people are not really familiar with the Rose, surprisingly, and so I provide that information to them and let them know how we can put a connection between their community and the Rose.
And so this is primarily so that you can set up a mobile mammography day with them? Is that the ultimate purpose, or is it just to make sure they know all the different services?
Well, to know all of the different services, of course, but the goal is to bring the mobile mammography there because there are actually many places that do not have the ability to perform mammographies. Mm-hmm. So bringing the mobile coach is the goal. Yeah.
Well, that's so important because I think about half of your counties don't even have a mammography center.
That's
or
right.
Or a major hospital or anywhere the woman can go.
That is right. Many physicians that I have come to create these friendships with, they actually refer their patients more than 40 miles. And many of those patients, they don't have transportation. Mm-mm. There's no way to get that far. So they just don't have their mammogram done. And it's difficult. Those are one of the struggles for the physicians in these rural counties to keep up with their patients' health. And those physicians, their faces light up when they say, I'm going to bring the mobile coach to you, and you will be that tool that will be used to get this service out to your patients, to your community. And that right there, that just clinches the gap.
Renee, when you go into any community, first of all, you live in that area. Right. So yes. You know some of these different places. And you were I love the name, the practice manager for a clinic, for a hospital, for what?
So I was a practice manager for Greater Houston Physicians, and that was for about 15 years. Then the owner decided to allow Baylor to acquire our company. And so that has been my medical experience for over 20 years.
So what does that mean exactly? You're in the office, you're handling...
Oh, my. I am the captain of the ship.
Okay.
My responsibility is first to make sure we have the best care for our patients. So patient experience is very, very important. I manage the schedules for patients, the physician schedules, and making sure that all of the activity that happens in front in the lobby is happy and that they're getting their needs met. So
Right.
that's what I handled.
So you brought that experience into this position, and that was at a very special time in your life that the Rose picked you. And
Yes.
what had been going on with you then?
So it was 2020, and things in our world as we knew it were changing. I was laid off with about 20 other practice managers. I did not know what direction I was going, and I was in a confusion state, and I found my way through, I just don't really know how it came about, but as COVID continued, my mother and sister, they passed. It was difficult. This was all part of my path. And then at the end of that path was the Rose. I didn't realize that it was going to be the happiest part of my life. And I say that even though, and I'm so sorry for the tears, but
It's no problem. Now, wait a minute. Let's just go back a minute because I think you kind of went over that. Both your mother and sister, did they both have COVID?
they both had COVID
And didn't make it.
and they didn't make it.
So that had to be especially a hard time for you. And here you are, a healthcare professional, knowing all the dangers and everything that could go along with that.
Yes. It was so frustrating, as I know that I'm not alone in that. My sister, who was 45, she was Down syndrome. She had never been a day without her family where they could touch her. So in being in that environment was very stressful for our family. She passed. And then my mother, they were actually at two different hospitals.
Oh, my gosh.
So one was in Baytown and the other was in Kingwood. And so if you could just imagine, our whole family at that time had COVID. So we were in our cars, sitting in the parking lots, praying, whatever we could to make ourselves feel of some use. And so, of course, that was a very difficult time when you feel that you have no way of helping them. And then a week later, my mother passed from COVID. So, I know that it's not breast cancer, but when you have a tragedy that impacts your life, you want to do something about it. And when I got my opportunity at the Rose, I thought, this is a very different job. And then when I was given the details of what I would be doing, you want me to go into the community and give them something at no cost that will benefit their life? Yes, I'm in. Yes, I will do that. Because, my mother and sister were very, they were workers in the community. And I always thought, that is what I need to do. And to me, it's easy to work in a commercial environment as a practice manager. But when you work in a nonprofit organization, you really see the difference and you see the impact that it makes on your community. And that has been my happy little silver lining in my life right now.
Just to kind of put this all in context, what you're trying to do is to inform the community about the opportunity to have a mammogram on the mobile mammography coaches.
Oh, yes.
And your job involves scheduling the coach at certain facilities, but you can't do this without that facility being a good partner.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? You know, you said you just go into a place, but do you just go in and say, I'm here?
Oh, yeah. No, it is a little bit of work. There is some elbow grease that goes into this. So I will tell you, making your relationship with first the facilitator, just getting in the door is, it's a little bit of a struggle. You have to be strategic. You have to provide the all of the information, what we have to offer, getting that facilitator to engage with their patients and get them to schedule an appointment. And then, of course, on the other side is we're communicating with our mobile coordinator at the Rose, and it takes a team of people. It's not just come in, all right, we're showing up. It is, you know, getting the patient to provide information that's sensitive. It's getting them to show up. And that is sometimes almost a tragedy because they're missing that opportunity because we are walking them through the process of getting there. The facilitator at that clinic or church or food pantry is doing their part. The mobile coordinator, all of the team is doing a very important part just to get that one day to happen. So.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it is a tragedy, but we also know that when you don't have the money, you don't have the transportation, and you have all these other things that are pressing down on you, sometimes you just can't get there. I think it's so interesting that we have almost as many no-shows, which is when a person doesn't show up for an appointment, within our insured population as we do our uninsured. Mm-hmm. And to me, what that says is this is about being a woman, having more than we can handle on our plates, and then deciding to put ourselves last.
Right.
So a lot of your job is convincing the women in your community that you are important and you have value, and you need to get your mammogram done.
Yes, I can't tell you how many patients that I have called just to reassure them of the benefit that they can acquire from our mammogram. You know, a lot of women are scared, and I can't tell you how many women that I've spoken to that have said, I've never had a mammogram. And I listen to their story, and I'm very patiently waiting for them to get to the realization that, oh, I do need it. Mm-hmm. And so that when those relationships are created, when I'm calling these patients and they don't show up, I don't give up. So I will call them, I will listen to them, and you know, they're scared. Mm-hmm. And I find another mobile day to get them to come in. What was the problem? Was it? And normally it's transportation. Mm-hmm. They're so rural that they don't have gas money. They've had to pay for maybe food or rent, or there's whatever their reason is. There's a reason they've not come. It is a tragedy, but
that's also why one of your places to really share this information is the food banks, because we are talking about uninsured people who are very, very close when it comes to funds and having money, and maybe they're working or they're not working part-time or whatever. So it's really, really tough. Now, how is it that you're able to offer a free mammogram?
Well, I will tell you that the grant that that allows me to offer these amazing things is CPRIT. And
now tell us what CPRIT means, because sometimes when we say it, it sounds like we're saying secret, like we have a secret grant here. You know, we're not going to tell anybody.
So it is the Cancer Prevention and Research. They are an organization that awards organizations, clinics, etc., with a grant that, and it's not just breast cancers, many different cancers, and they provide that grant to the Rose that pays for, our employees, our gas, our actual mammography testing, our films, things like that. And so that has been a blessing to us to be able to, because physicians do ask that when I come. They say, how are you able to provide all of these services at no cost to my patients? Because I don't want it to go away. They need it every year. I pretty much have to sell it to the provider and to let them know where this is coming from. And it does require a lot just to get them to understand and accept us and continue to our partnership.
Well, and it's a matter of trust. You have to build that trust with your partners. And I think that was an important point you made. We need to do this every year. And so you showing up again and again, making sure they know we're not going away. We are there to stay. We are part of the community. I think that's one of the best parts of our community engagement navigators, that they really are able to facilitate that kind of relationship. You can't do that from Houston. You can't do that living in another area because you're not familiar with the community. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's very vital that that we as community engagement navigators just drench yourself with knowledge in each county. And each county is definitely very different. I just brought a new mobile partner to the Rose from Sabine County. And that is my furthest county. And as I drive there, I think if I was a patient that lived there and I had to drive to the nearest place, I mean, that it's pretty rural. It's really rural. So that has been an exciting addition to my mobile partners. And meeting with the hospital representatives, they were very engaged in knowing that CPRIT is one of our grants that allows us to keep coming because they're a county hospital. So they're familiar with what the county can offer them. They depend on those things. So coming year after year, it's important to them.
So you're truly a community partner. You're not there to take anything, or you're there to give. And I, in the world that we're in right now, that's a very unusual proposition. I don't want anything. I just want to be able to take care of your patients.
Yes. And that when they hear that, the physician or the nurse practitioner or the COO, when they hear, okay, you're not here to sell me something, and they hear you are going to give this to our patients, this is great. Let's be friends.
Yes, yes. And that is, we can't stress that enough. We need those partners.
Yeah.
And we know it's a lot of work on them too, because they have to find the patients, help us remind them, help identify who is eligible for a mammogram. How, I'm always curious, what happens when someone has a lump in their breast and really can't have that mammogram on the mobile?
That is always the second or third question that I get from the doctor. What happens? And so we tell them, we don't stop there. Okay. The service is not complete. After that mobile day, when the results come in and there may be some sad news, it's encouraging to know that they can come to one of our locations, and normally that facilitator or that partner will say, I don't think my patient can have gas for that. And our grant allows us to assist those women so that they don't feel like, well, this is it for me. So those services we still provide, and
Right.
I shout those out to the providers and let them know, no, we do more.
Right. And even if they find someone who already has a lump, they can still come to the Rose.
Yes. And that is, they do keep our brochures and know that they can tell their patient, listen, I want a top-notch service. I want, I want my patient to get the whole package. So I'm going to send them to you.
Comprehensive, right? We're not going to leave them with just a screening mammogram. We're going to do whatever it takes. And many times, and I know you've seen this happen, we try to do everything in one day because we know that's been a 3-hour trip for that woman or whatever. And we don't want her to have to come back again.
Yes. And that is, that's a big relief for that provider, knowing that we can offer the entire package to their patient and they don't have to continue coming back and forth. That's very stressful.
Oh, yeah.
So stressful for a woman who may be a mother or maybe a widow, and then they don't have the means to get back and forth. Just to know I can get everything done at the Rose all in a day. And that takes coordination on our part.
Oh, yeah.
So I hear the comments back from those patients that have been so grateful to know that they can come to the Rose for all of those things and not have it as a secret to them. I wonder what's going on with my breast health.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a favorite county?
Oh, gosh. This is like having children.
Well, if you don't, you don't. But
really
I just was curious.
Don't have a county, but I live in Liberty County, and I have a brand new partner, and I really enjoy this clinic. This is one of my Spitfire little groups. They are small. We have our mobile mammogram day finally tomorrow, and that is so special for them, thinking about this is in October we get to do this, where it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So they're really excited. It is their first time, and they are, when I say small, I think there's maybe 4 employees, including the provider. And it's going to be amazing. They're so excited. They literally are half a mile from my home. So I stop in quite frequently, tell them about all of the new things happening with the Rose. So they might not be my super favorite, but right now I'm pretty excited for them and the opportunity that they're giving to the county that I live in.
Well, I think that is a great story, and they're going to make the day special along with you, so that it's really a celebration, not something of drudgery or I have to go do this. No, I've seen some of your clinics. They just go all out to make it special. Yes,
they do. It's always a success. This is a little secret. It won't be a secret anymore after this, but I try to go to all of my mobile days, and I try to get there before the mobile coach comes. And as soon as I see the tires hit the pavement, I get so excited as I think, yes, we did it. We did it. And I give a little pat to myself. And then I go and meet my facilitator. I give them a hug, get them really excited. And, it doesn't matter. I wish we could reach a lot more, but if we don't get everyone to come, it's still a success.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whoever we saw that day is definitely who we needed to see that day.
Yes.
So is that why they call you the Mammo Queen around here?
Do they call me the Mammo Queen?
I heard about your tiara and your,
okay.
yes. Because you really have such fun when you get a new client or when you have a successful day. And
yes, so I do. I will say that I challenged myself, and the challenge continues. There are so many counties that I felt like we need another partner. And so one of my partners that I just took on it was Sabine County. And I felt like royalty, a rock star. I am going to bring the rose to you. I felt very empowered just bringing that information there, and that energy probably translates every time that I visit. Are we ready? Oh, I got another person, and they're the provider and the facilitator, they're excited. They're like, hey, we got another person. We got 3 more people. Keeping the motivation going, that is patient retainment. Mm-hmm. That is success for that woman, because as a woman, we put ourselves last. And so bringing on all of these people and this new partner, it's really, it's made me feel like Empress Renee. So yes, I got a little tiara, and I do the little dance at home and put it on.
I certainly hope you don't take that out into the community. Oh my gosh, I can see that now. Well, maybe you do. All right, we don't need to know that part. Renee, what is a successful day? Is it 20 women that you have to have scheduled, or 17? Or I know you'd hope to get 25.
I always hope for 25, 27 patients, but a success is us just seeing whoever shows up.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, because that means that we've touched one life, we've touched 7 lives, and those women go and tell their neighbors, their friends, their family, and that's always my message to them when I see them, and I hug them, and I tell them, oh, I'm so happy for you. And they always have a story, and they're always so appreciative. And I tell them, just come back next year. Mm-hmm. Just bring one more person. And I can't tell you, I've not experienced a single woman say, I'm not coming back.
Wow.
I've not experienced that. And so that's successful to me.
Absolutely. So how would someone find out about you? How would they be able to schedule a mobile day?
So we do have a great online, and I normally tell partners, you can go online and you can schedule online. It's very easy. I have a little printout that I even tell them, here are the ways that you can reach us. The Rose has a website. You can schedule there. You can call us. I provide my brochures and my business cards, but it makes it so easy when you just tell them, you can go online and schedule. It's that easy.
So, Renee, if you could change one thing for women in your counties, what would it be?
Probably for there to be more mobile coaches, because there's just not enough days that we can come to every person, because their schedules always conflict. Mm-hmm. There's always a reason they can't make it. If I could make every woman understand, and that is my job, that how important this is, I would just take out my magic wand and give them all of that knowledge. So I think that's what I would change.
We just need more access.
Yeah.
More access to all kinds of health care for women. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I'm so happy that you're doing your part in making sure that women in 10 different counties, is that what you told us?
10 counties.
or who might not have that service in that county or even near them.
Right.
That you're bringing that to them, and you're making sure that women are taking care of themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just keep getting out there and hitting the pavement and continue on with my little rock star attitude.
And we want you to. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you. It's been a true honor.
Oh, pleasure is all ours. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.